Good evening. Two of season 10. We're here for the Australian Grand Prix. And who am I? You may recognise me from VSL season 1 commentary, VSL season 2 championship winning driver, and a season 5 constructors championship winning driver as well. It's Peter Nyden here, and I'm going to give you the best of my commentary. I'm a little bit rusty on the box, but Alfie is unable to attend, so I'm taking over for this Grand Prix. 13 drivers from one, and hopefully we can have a nice clean race for this round. Only, I believe, 5 more rounds to go after this, and the championship standings looks incredibly tight at the top of the table. We'll get into that as qualifying begins to unfold. It's nice to see that championship leader, Gareth Hall, has finally got his teammate in the right car this time. Mr. Matt Ryan, who loves a train journey, is being carried to yet another constructors. But we will see what will unfold in the second half of the season here in VSL Tier 2. No one yet to make their way to the circuit as of yet. Speaking of which, I can see a Ferrari of one of the Dutch drivers, Leroy Harzlager, going out onto the track. Now, Australia has been revamped, some changes compared to previous Grand Prix. A reprofiling of Turn 1 and what is now Turn 11 makes the track a little bit quicker, but not to forget the thousands of DRS zones that have been added to this track. So we'll stay on board with Leroy. 2 drivers out on track, the McLaren of Speed Risky, or Sullivan Lewis, and Leroy's partner in crime for tonight's race, Michelle, in the other Ferrari. I see a lot of controversy in this tier. I do watch some of the races, so I do get an idea of what can happen on track between certain drivers. So we'll get a few bits of data up for you, so we can see what is happening on and off track in the pits and drivers on their flyers. It's been a long while since I've done my last commentary. I think it might have been around Jakar Kia series, but I'm sure everyone listening, whether you're watching it live or watching it after the race has finished, can enjoy a thrilling Australian Grand Prix as Leroy takes turn 1 and 2, a little bit slippery on exit, but keeps it valid as he runs down towards what's technically the second DRS straight already on this track. First one is a run down towards turn 1, which is a double DRS detection point up into turn 3. And now we head towards the newer part of the circuit, where they removed the chicane that led onto the back straight that ends sector 2. It's all now flat out as Leroy puts pedal to the metal to set his second sector split. 45 dead is the banker for the first 2 sectors as he goes through the tricky turns, what's now 9 and 10, and up towards through the kink, and now 11, which has been reprofiled. You have to brake a lot earlier. It's a tighter corner, more 90 degrees than it used to be, but this corner has stayed the same, and into the final couple of corners to set the provisional pole time here in Australia. We saw Sebastian Vettel take a Ferrari victory here in Australia. Let's see if Leroy or Michelle can do the same. 1:18.6. I haven't done many laps around this track, so I'm not too sure what a good pole time will be. If it was using the different track layout, I could roughly give you an estimation. But we're going to have to see as times are coming across the board, as Yuri has already crashed at the exit of the fast left-right chicane. We'll go on board with a Haas of Hot Speed and see where that stricken Red Bull is. Should be on the left-hand side, but his car has been taken all the way back to Parc Ferme in pieces. Red Bull have got a lot of work to do to put that car back together for the Grand Prix. Yuri will be starting no higher than probably last place, which is not too bad. 12 position score points here in VSL. If you finish inside the top 12, you will be scoring championship points. As Hot Speed comes to the line, doesn't beat Leroy's time, but is in the low 19s. Ryan Berry in the Alpha Tauri has set a 1:21.9, probably just finding his feet on track as the rubber starts to dig in and the track times start to get lower and lower. Tony with a 1:37, also probably finding his feet after making a mistake on his first lap. He's got plenty of EOS and will go again. Let's see if we can catch Michel on the end of his flyer. 2/10 down on Leroy's first two sectors. What can he do in this final sector as he lines the final corner? He's looking for a 1:18.6. It's going to be an 18.9. And that's a Ferrari front row lockout at this stage in qualifying. But keep an eye out for the Mercedes. One who is still in the pits because he's letting the plebs warm up the track for him. And the other is his teammate Matt Ryan, who's on track at the moment. So 11 and a half minutes left in the session. We shall have a look at the championship standings. I'll give you a rundown through the drivers inside that top 10, if I can find them. My preparation for this commentary is alright. I've done some research, know who's going to throw it away. Matt Ryan nearly did a Yuri and put it in the wall at the exit of the fast. But he keeps it between the white lines into the final sector. He's got a Red Bull up ahead of him of Speed Newgarden, who is about to start his first flyer. But the Mercedes driver in the white helmet up to the line. Can he challenge the Ferraris? Not quite yet, but he does get himself on the second row ahead of the Haas of Hot Speed. Good luck from Matt Ryan, but plenty of time to be found with plenty of time to go in this qualifying session. I know you're going to hate this watching back, Gareth, and me flicking through drivers. Not everyone has the skill and want to run through this and try and find the drivers they want, just in case you end up picking the wrong one. But Newgarden then, the solo Red Bull left on track, has invalidated his lap time. It looks like he's going to start recharging the battery up again and go for another flyer on this set of soft tyres. It'll be interesting to see what strategy drivers will do. Medium hards tends to be the way forward. 27 or 8 laps, I think, it might be more, of the circuit to be completed in tonight's race. The 53 Red Bull will be wanting to start a little bit higher up the field, as his teammate will be starting towards the back. Neither of them will want both of them to be at the back, so Newgarden will be looking to go round again. Matt Davis then, reserve I believe in the McLaren. Loves to bottle, although I can't talk, as I assume to be known as King of Bottle, as we won't talk about this season's Tier 1 Hungarian Grand Prix. I didn't throw away a potential P2, I didn't throw away a potential P1. It just didn't happen. It was raining in Hungary, but it doesn't look like it's going to be raining here, unless anybody wants to let me know in chat whether it is going to rain in the race or not. So, Davis, what can he do? Can he split the Ferraris? Can he get ahead of Jordan? Can he break the 180 into the 118s like the two Ferraris have? So far, those two look to be untouchable at the moment. a good time for the start of the session. P3 for Davo, and yet to split the Ferraris. And according to Jordan, it is going to rain in the race, so that could spice things a little bit up a bit, especially when it comes to setting up your car. Now you want to run a lot more wing, favourable in the rear end compared to what some drivers might like, a favourable higher front end, so they can turn the car in a bit better, get a little bit looser, but the car doesn't get as much understeer. But when it comes to the wet weather, you want as much rear balance as possible, and hopefully this isn't Leroy setting a time on a dry setup not knowing it's going to rain, and the rest of the drivers have thought about the race, because at this stage I believe only pole position may get a point. Other than that, there are no points in qualifying, and we'll see what the rest of the drivers can do. 3 drivers yet to set a time, 1 already retired, and I'm going to go on board with championship leader. It didn't look like he was going very quickly through that first sector. We'll see what his first sector split is compared to the Ferraris. 27-1. He's looking for a 45-0 after the first 2 sectors to have any chance of topping Leroy for pole position. So, championship standings. 3 points separate the 2 drivers at the top, as Gareth has lost the back end, was apparently purple in sector 2, and there goes what was a 3-point lead, could now be going in towards Leroy's favour for the championship. GG, Gareth. But it's not over for the rest of the drivers in the championship. ERT Jordan, the AlphaTauri, who's currently in P4, looks like he is going to try and fight his way towards the top. 10 points behind Leroy, 13 points behind Gareth, and if a poor qualifying session happens for, then he's got a lot of work to do in the race. But Gareth's a driver that seems to find his way to the top without any incidents. Maybe he decides to force his way through. I know a few drivers on here like to get their wheels tangled together with that Mercedes driver. But into the box he goes, probably a fresh set of softs, and we'll go out again with 5 laps to go. Expect more competitive lap times from Ryan Berry and Tony. Ryan Berry has been doing laps, probably this is his practice, with his best time so far on his 6th lap old. I think he's still on those. As he loses the back end, it might be time to go into the pits, or not, because I think those soft tyres are completely shredded, and if you try and go for another fast lap, you may end up in the wall like your sister team driver in the Red Bull, and we won't want that, will we, Ryan? But you and Tony, work to do, very close on track, but you need to find at least a second to be challenging anywhere near the top 4, which is 4th to 9th, separated by 2.5 tenths. And then you got Michelle and Risky, who decides to pop himself between the 2 Ferraris. So it's a Ferrari, McLaren, Ferrari. We'll see if Davo can do anything to match Risky to get himself on the front row, because at the moment he's starting P4. Can anyone else challenge the likes of the Ferraris and Risky and getting into the 118s? Davis was close. I think Jordan more time to find. McLaren, the fastest Mercedes driver on track at the moment, with Newgarden, Acorn and Hot Speed separated by 7 thousandths of a second. So let's go on board with Newgarden, who is on a flyer, fresh set of soft tyres, runs a little bit deep into turn 3, but hopefully he can keep it within the white lines on his first attempt. Had to do a second run on that previous set of tyres, which put him 1/1000th quicker than the Alfa Romeo driver of Acorn. So to challenge pole position, we're looking for a 45.0 or less after the first two sectors. What can Newgarden do as he heads towards the tricky left-right chicane? He's 10,000ths up on his previous best and a 10th down on Leroy, but that's good enough to get a 118 if he can keep it clean and tidy in this final sector. The tricky right-hander at the end of, I believe it is the third and final DRS straight, although I feel like they're proposing maybe 4 or 5 DRS straights. Might as well make the whole track DRS. Do you remember those days where qualifying you could have your DRS open at any moment on the lap? And he could be going flying through a corner. What can Newgarden do? Is he in the 18s? He is just about. And he pips Michel, who has retired already. So Michel will not be taking part in the rest of qualifying. And Newgarden has beaten him by 0.05 of a second. And he's about a 10.5 behind Risky. Still no one yet to go and challenge Leroy for that pole position. It seems to be a one lap and done kind of guy. Or some might say a one pump and dump. I'm saying nothing. But Hot Speed, a driver I've seen, he's got a good amount of pace. Can finish towards the top end of the field. Is a solo Haas on track, so I don't think Haas will be fighting for any championships anytime soon. As we see, if we can have a look at the constructors. Of tier 2. Do we have the points tally? So at this stage, in the second half of the season, it's Alfa Romeo who lead the way in the constructors standings. 140 points for Acorn and Tony. Then it's the Ferrari of Leroy, and I can't remember who his other teammate is, because Michel is a stand-in for today. They're on 134, tied with Mercedes and tied with AlphaTauri. So 4 teams separated by 6 points for this Constructors' Championship. I wouldn't discount Red Bull just yet, 111 points, so if they can get a great overhaul over the other teams ahead, at this stage, Yuri might need to pick his finger out and get himself qualifying further up the grid. Then you have the Haas 64, Alpine 45, McLaren 28, Aston Martin on 18, and Williams, who I believe have no drivers anyway, are on 0. Right, who's coming to the end of their laps? We have a Mercedes, I believe that might be Gareth. On an out lap, oh, Matt Ryan. To the line, does he improve? No, he doesn't. And Jordan beats Leroy's time to go provisional pole position. With qualifying over now, checker flag has flown. Newgarden will not get another lap in. Gareth did not make the line. He will be starting dead last. Championship leader at the back of the grid. His teammate in P7. Acorn has invalidated the Haas of Hot Speed. Can he topple Jordan off the top of the standings? He does improve up to P5 with an 18.875. Can the McLaren of Risky do anything about it? Down after the first 2 sectors, up to the line, it's only P3, so McLaren 2-3 at this stage. We have a look to see if Leroy can capitalise on Gareth's misfortunes in qualifying. Leaving the box too late and not getting a clean run in has cost Gareth a chance to start near the front. But can Leroy take back his pole position as he runs towards the line? He can. By 5/10, nearly 6/10, and nearly in the 117s. Did someone say Leroy to tier 1? Or is that just Gareth chatting again? Or is that Gareth to tier 1? Maybe you should get some sand out of that Mercedes, Gareth. And hopefully it doesn't hold you back in the Grand Prix. If you get in front of, I don't know, maybe Tony or Acorn, maybe drop a little bit on the track. You never know what could happen. This is VSL after all. looks like only have one driver. I was going to say, I thought all the drivers across the track, but Tony seemed to be the final driver, heading towards the finish line to improve on any lap time. So there's your grid then for this Australian Grand Prix, round 7 here in VSL, season number 10. Leroy is on pole position by 5/10. Meanwhile, the rest of the grid, down to P10, is separated by 7/10. Jordan on the front row for AlphaTauri, looking to take a title charge in the second half of the season. Then it's a McLaren 3-4 holding out that second row on the grid. Hot Speed in the Haas at P5. Ryan Berry joining the AlphaTauri into the top 6. Newgarden P7. Michelle P8 after DNFing early in the session. Matt Ryan, Acorn, Tony, Yuri, annual championship leader and reigning champion, Speed Gareth, starts at the back. The only way is up then, Gareth, unless you do not manage to make it around turn 2, as you so proclaim you didn't do last time you raced here. I've been told there may be rain. It looks like it's a sunny day down under. Could there be rain later on? We'll see as we give ourselves a 2-minute break heading into the Grand Prix. Hopefully we can have a nice clean race. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of argy-bargy, as long as you don't cause anyone any damage. Rain at the end, according to Jordan. Spicy finish with a sprinkling of Australian weather. Depending on how late this rain decides to come and how heavy it may be, tyre choice is going to be interesting. Do you start on the mediums? I hope for a safety car in the midpoint between where the tyres start to die off and then the rain may start to come, go into a set of softs under a safety car and then work from there. Or do you start on the hard tyres, stretch it as long as you can all the way to the rain, hoping it turns up sooner than you think, especially if the other drivers decide to either A, start on softs or start on the mediums. The only point I despise about this, that I have to stare at the pit lane. I'd rather be staring at the drivers on the grid, so even if the tyres flick between tyre compounds. Seeing what strategies drivers decide to use. See how much fuel drivers are willing to risk taking out or leaving in the car, especially with rain on the way. A lighter car is always a little bit better, and you can save fuel a lot easier in wet conditions. I'd say you're off throttle a little bit more, you're a lot more cautious on throttle, but you still got to watch out for the wheel spin. Here we go then, ready for the formation lap. To see what tyres everyone is on. Leroy, Jordan, Davis, Risky and Hot Speed on mediums. Top 5 on mediums. Ryan Berry and Acorn, only 2 drivers opting for the hards. They lied P6 and P10. Newgarden, Michelle and Matt Ryan on the mediums as well, with Tony and Gareth at the back on the mediums. And the solo soft runner, someone who didn't get to use many of his softs in qualifying, is looking to go aggressive off the line and maybe jump. A lot of drivers, with the use and the benefit of the softer compounder tyre, is going to have to do a lot of work to stay out of trouble, keep his wing unbroken, unlike he did in qualifying, and hopefully will have to perform an undercut or expect a safety car to save earlier pit stop compared to everyone else. Anyone that starts on the hards is going to have to take it nice and cautious as well, because this is a tyre you're expecting to take long. If you get wing damage at the start of the Grand Prix, what was the point putting the hard tyres on? Take it nice and easy. There's no need to be aggressive at the start, or as aggressive at the start, because your choice of the hard tyre means you're playing the long game. You're playing the late game. You're probably expecting that rain to come a little bit sooner. And if it does, you're right in the money, as long as you don't lose too much time to the leaders who may pull away. Staying within DRS is going to be crucial, as there are many DRS zones on this track anyway. I think it's going to be highly unlikely that you lose out. Interesting. How does that work? Is it that good, Sam? Are we that good? It's nice to know. But the question is, will the lights go out at the same time? And if they do, then we're in for a cracking race in both tiers. As Ryan Berry and Newgarden fail to park it in their grid slots. No penalties like Fernando Alonso got in Saudi Arabia, but you are going to be suffering with cold tyres. Can we have a better view, please? I don't like the back of the grid, I want the front. Can I have the front, please? As we wait for the 5 red lights here at the VSL Tier 2 for round 7, the Australian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go. Can I have a better camera view, Codemasters, so I can see the run down to turn 1? Thank you very much, and it's a great start from Jordan as he gets ahead of Leroy down towards turn 1, and the McLarens 3 and 4 follow through, as Yuri's had a fantastic start all the way from P12 up to P5, and I believe we've already got our first safety car of the race. Acorn is in the wall at the exit of turn 1, and not sure what happened. May have to go to the stewards. All I know is we have our first retirement in barely 1 corner. This will benefit Yuri. He can stretch those soft tyres out a little bit longer than he was probably anticipating, and he's gained so much ground he can now attack the lead runners on this soft tyre. Matt Ryan Berry, I believe he might have kept it clean unless he was involved in that incident, because he is 6 seconds off the leaders, and the safety car came out virtually instantly. So whether there was contact between Deck and Ryan, we will find out after the Grand Prix. Winners and losers off that start then. As we mentioned, Yuri up 7 positions, Newgarden's made up 1, Matt Ryan's up 2, Ryan Berry starting 6th all the way down to 8th, along with Michelle, who was 8th, down to 10th. Tony's made up 2, Gareth's up 2, and Hot Speed, with the worst start of all the drivers on the grid, down in 12th with no front wing. So we're expecting him to come into the box. Maybe he was involved in an incident with Declan. We will see after 29 laps and a thorough steward's investigation. You can say lap 1, turn 1, but I mentioned at the start, you've got to keep it clean. Hot Speed onto the hard tyres. He's looking to go long. Change your front wing, as I assume 0 on the front wing around this track is going to be a killer, especially in that middle and final sector. I don't think this safety car will stay out too long, as the grid is already formed up bar 1 driver, and we can get racing once again without a safety car, please. Luckily, safety cars aren't bound to come out after the first 2 sectors of a safety car restart. If anything happens in that final sector, it's anyone's game. whether a safety car comes out or not. But nice and clean, please, ladies and gentlemen. We want to see some good racing and not bumper cars. So although Jordan got Leroy off the start, run down towards turn 3 seemed to be in favour of Leroy as he retook the lead just before the safety car was called out. And the McLarens have stayed in formation, looking to probably put some teamwork on the table to get up towards the front of the field. Is safety car going to be in? Probably. As they're heading around the final corner, we will have at least one more lap of yellow flag running before we can get this race back underway. No one else opting to make a pit stop. Yuri expecting to probably make a pit stop around lap 7 or 8. Soft tyres on all tracks are not really the best race tyre. They're definitely more of a qualifying tyre. The best race tyre, I would say, is the mediums. But a lot of tracks, I know the hard tyres are very durable. And can be very beneficial if you can make them last long. That's what Hot Speed's going to do, and that's what the only driver left on the hard tyres that started, Tony's going to do. No, Ryan Berry, sorry, is going to do. Hopefully we don't see an an Alfa Romeo retire at this weekend's Australian Grand Prix. Either Bottas or Guan Yu Zhou should be able to survive turn 1 on lap 1. We hope so, fingers crossed. No Silverstone 2022 reenactments, please. Safety car in this lap. Now what can Yuri do? Made up 7 at the start. What can he do on this restart? Can he get in front of 1 or 2 McLarens? Can he get anywhere near his brother on track? Will they fight him knowing that he's going to have to pit early? He's on the softer compound and will be going for more of an undercut strategy rather than trying to hold out for the rain. Leroy will lead the way. He can decide when he goes. Safety car will be in the box, and Leroy has an opportunity to hold on to his lead on this restart if he can time it to perfection. As you can see, the McLaren of Davis getting right up behind as Leroy gets a poor restart and he's in the wall. That is the Ferrari out of this Grand Prix, and both Ferraris are out of this Grand Prix. That is not a sight that Paul McGuinness is going to want to see, especially if it happens this weekend here in Australia. As mentioned, I doubt a safety car will come out, even though there are 2 cars dead on track at the final corner. It's Jordan who leads the way. Yuri and Risky going side by side through this first sector. Yuri has the inside and will hold on to the position of the podium. That's 1 down, 2 to go. 1's already killed himself on track and he's out of this Grand Prix. 3 Ferrari powered engines already out, and that's not due to reliability. Maybe on the throttle though, could be an issue. Davis and Yuri side by side, and a very easy move for Yuri ahead of Davis. I don't think they're going to fight that, talking in the party together. Davis knowing that Yuri's on the faster tyre and will be looking to be moving forward as quickly as possible. Next up is the AlphaTauri of Jordan, very experienced driver. Seems to have the pace on time trial and in quali, but his race pace can sometimes fluctuate towards the end of the Grand Prix. His pace seems to drop a little bit when he's trying to fight for podiums and wins. But Yuri, what can he do as he sets the fastest lap down towards turn 1? No DRS as of yet. Still waiting for that to get activated as we ride on board with Yuri looking to pounce on Jordan while these soft tyres are still in good shape and the crossover period does not come just yet. That safety car period would have helped Yuri, but it's going to help the medium runners as well. They could extend towards that rain period if the tyres don't wear off as drastically as they could. Already out that 1 second window for the McLarens. Struggling a little bit, both of them. 2 seconds from Risky to Davis and 1.1 from Davis to Yuri. The speed, maybe not. Maybe I'm just looking at the wrong thing. But a DRS train down to P8 with Gareth. A poor restart from him. Has got hot speed all over the back of him as they run down towards turn 11. Oh, that's Yuri in the wall. Oh dear. Have you outbroken yourself, Mr. Yuri? Trying to go for a move on Jordan? Jordan's at the back as well. What have you done to him, Yuri? Do you have a front wing? You have half a front wing. DRS enabled. And it's a McLaren 1-2. Something that we'll not likely see in 2023 in the real Formula 1, because they've gone from being towards the top to the bottom. Anyway, Sam. Hard tyres for Yuri. He's going to be looking to stretch as he changes his front wing, and we'll be going long. McLaren 1-2. Davis just about breaking out. Oh, Risky's gone. Oh no, Risky. Is that a safety car? It is. And Yuri just about beats it out. Oh. So safety car deployed. 4 drivers already out of this Grand Prix. 9 remain. I know we had a interesting 2008 Grand Prix where, if you can let me know in the comments and guess how many finishes were there out of the 20, you could probably do the math and realise we're probably looking at maybe 4 or 5 finishes here, as we've already only completed 6 laps and already lost 4 drivers. So this helps Yuri a little bit, having that incident with Jordan. He's going to catch back up on the hard tyres. We're going long, and we'll be able to see what the solo McLaren can do. I wonder if Risky wants to join me in the box. If you're watching, Risky, or if anyone's watching, drop me a message or drop yourself in chat and you can join me in the box if you wish. Pit stoppers then. Matt Ryan, Tony, Gareth, all going for the hard tyres, making sure they stretch to this rain period. But how many will Yuri jump? He's got Gareth. Will he get Tony into turn 1? It looks like he's got it done on the mini-map, but he's going to have to give the position back for an illegal overtake. He's tried it as Yuri, but he's going to have to hold station down in P8, having got those hard tyres up to temperature. He's now going to have to cool them back down, stuck behind the safety car. Only 3 drivers opting to stay out on the mediums. Race leader Davis, Newgarden up in 2nd place, having a great race. This is one of the tracks that he enjoys racing at, I understand. So he'll be looking for a top result here. With Ryan Berry, who started on the hards, already up to P3. Hot speed after that lap 1 incident with no front wing, up to 4th. Jordan has recovered so far to 5th, but will probably not be happy with Mr. Yuri at the end of the Grand Prix. Will we go green flag running? Can we? The field's caught up. I know you've already passed the 2nd sector split, but I don't realistically want, or these drivers probably don't realistically want to go round again. Track is clear, and all the drivers have caught back up, unless Yuri's playing a little bit of tactics to make it stay out again. But it looks like we're going to be going for one more lap under safety car. Ooh. Interesting. I've had an offer from one of the drivers who is now not racing anymore because they made a mistake. And they want to join me in the box. Do I let him? He's the man who would have led the safety car restart, who lost the back end and put himself in a wall. Leroy Haslager wants to head up to the comms box, and I don't see why not. I might chop him in by it, I might not. We'll see. If I do, I need to start a party with him, and I don't want to ruin any of the feed. And Leroy, if you are going to join, you got to make sure your voice is on share. Don't do a Yuri and not have his microphone on loud enough. Yeah, let's do this. How do I do this on a PS5 controller? This is what we need to do. Quickly, before the race gets underway. There we go. Yep, safety car in this lap. Leroy will hopefully be joining the box soon as we get the safety car restart back underway. Can Davis get a better one, Dan? Right, he's already gone. I don't know what Newgarden's playing about, but he's lost nearly 2 seconds on that restart. And Davis is away to start lap 9 with a 1.8 second lead already over the rest of the field. The rest of them stuck in a nice, tidy, what will be DRS train come the end of the next couple of laps when it gets activated. Jordan now up ahead of Hot Speed on those medium tyres. Matt Ryan wants to get involved, goes around the outside, under the brakes, into turn 3. And that's a great move from Matt Ryan up to P5. And what looks to be in the most promising position at this stage. Freshest tyres in P5, top 5. And he will be able to go all the way to maybe even the end if it was possible. We've just got to figure out when this rain's going to arrive as he looks to attack ERT Jordan for that P4 position. And here he is, the bottler himself. He put it on pole position by nearly 6/10. He was not leading off the start down towards turn 1, but as he entered turn 3 and the safety car came out, he was back in the lead. Looked to be getting a good restart, but unfortunately he ended up in the pit wall. He's walked his way up to the commentary box to join us here as we ride on board with Matt Ryan and Jordan fighting for P4. Hello Leroy.
Hello Pete, that's a nice intro. Thank you for reminding me what happened. But yeah, it was a shame, good qualifying, but yeah, no TC is still something to learn.
Yeah, it's always difficult, as the master spinner himself will tell you. No TC is not always now, that easy.
At least now I can watch the race and give some commentary with you. It would be nice.
Yeah, is this your first time in the commentary box?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Well, we've only got 9 races on track. Hopefully they can put on a bit of a fight.
Yeah, and it's really close. Like, Devo's running away with it, with Newgarden behind, but then everybody's almost in a second, so...
Yeah, Matt Ryan's going to get a little bit jealous that Ryan Berry's leading a train that he would probably want to be at the front of. He's not used to being in the middle of a train, is Matt Ryan. He's usually the conductor at the front, leading the way. But hopefully he can charge his way through those. Medium tyres may start wearing off Davis, Newgarden and Jordan. Ryan Berry's hards are probably just coming into their own. A couple of safety cars. Probably hasn't helped with tyre warming as DRS now gets enabled.
And if the tyres are wearing off, Matt Ryan has the freshest tyres with 4 laps, so he might get himself more in front.
He will indeed.
Oh, and by the way, I need to say, Yuri told me he's very sorry for what happened with Jordan.
Okay, confirmation that there was a collision between Jordan and Yuri does apologise to Jordan, who has seemed to have
Fight time really good.
Yeah, not too much time lost on the back of Matt Ryan now, leading towards the far chicane.
Might have a chance because Ryan doesn't have ERS, so, and his ERS light's already blinking, so
ran a little bit
close enough.
He ran a little bit deep there. Hopefully Jordan can just shape him up a little. Will Ryan get DRS? He's very tantalising close as Jordan goes very late under the brakes, very deep into the penultimate corner. Ryan Berry is just going to miss out on DRS, is he? Will the flap open?
No, it's not.
It's not, and he's blinking light. Will Jordan go for a move up to turn 1? He won't. He knows there's a double dose of DRS as Brian misses another apex. Will Jordan get the move done? Inside or outside? If you go for the outside, you'll have the inside for turn 4. He's looking for the racing line. Ryan Berry covers it off, moving back over to the racing line. But these mediums are probably going to be worse for wear compared to those hard tyres. He's just going to have to make the most of it.
At this point, you might have considered letting Jordan through, because he's the faster guy right now.
Yeah, if Ryan can't get within that 1 second, it's a little bit of a no-brainer.
And as we speak, Jordan is getting past Ryan Berry.
Teammates, so I didn't expect them to make it any difficult between themselves. They're fighting for a constructors. I got away with it, if I'm saying. What's corner cutting? It's...
So, Jordan already closing gap to Newgarden.
Yeah, Newgarden in the box then.
Yeah, and off he goes. Devil stays out.
Jordan as well, leaving 2 runners who started this Grand Prix on mediums out on track, as Yuri showing his pace on those hard tyres, setting the fastest lap, which I assume he already had, which he got on the softs. Can he now not make a mistake? We're trying to make an overtake. He's got Gareth on his gearbox, but he's got Tony, Hot Speed, Matt Ryan and Ryan Berry and Jordan all in his sights in a nice, wonderful train.
And as I know, Yuri needs to take a move on Tony, but like Tony and Tech, the Alphas are really difficult to overtake.
Yeah, luckily one of them is not on the track anymore, so one less person to overtake, 1 more point in the bag. But you've got to be patient. We're just about to hit the halfway stage of this Grand Prix, and it's anyone's game realistically. Davis has got an advantage of 2.5 seconds to Jordan. He seems to have the pace in this early stage. Didn't have to get by the tricky Ferraris who put themselves in the water. Anyway, I won't mention it anymore, Leroy, don't worry. Maybe towards the end. But it's just interesting how you spun, and then out the corner of my eye at the bottom of the screen you just see Michelle doing nearly exactly the same thing. I'm retiring.
Yeah, Ferrari strategy, right?
Yeah, Ferraris are good with their strategy. Why run the race with 4 wheels when you can have 3?
Yeah, some weight. Just some extra weight on the car, 4 wheels.
It is indeed.
But for now, Tony is closing the gap to Hot Speed. He's 3 tenths behind.
Ooh.
Hot Speed's running wide, which opens the door for Tony, and he's through. Can Yuri also get through? He's very close right now.
He doesn't seem to have a lot of battery, does Yuri? I'm just going to check.
Yuri has 78%.
Okay. I thought I saw a blinking light. But at least someone knows how to manage their ERS.
To be fair, if I'm scrolling through everybody, only Ryan Barry is very low, but all the others are quite high on their battery.
Will Yuri go for a late move? He's looking to the inside, keeps his line, but it's going to run him out a little bit more wide than he would like. 11 as Davis now makes his first and what could be only pit stop. What tyres does he decide to go on to? If rain is on the way, if I was Davis, go on to the mediums, but it looks like he will probably go on to the hards and match Newgarden as Tony sets fastest lap 23.0, which pretty much matched Yuri's anyway. Oh, we got a spinner. That's Tony round. Sets fastest lap, gets himself a little bit of confidence and puts himself in the wall. Does he have any front wing damage? It looks like he managed to
set the fast lap time right now. So with Davo on the colder tire, he might close the gap, and that's for the lead.
That will be for the lead. I expect Yuri, Gareth and Tony to stretch these tyres a little bit further, but with that mistake from Tony, he's lost at least 10 seconds to where he was. He's gonna have to do a lot of work to try and catch that up. A DRS train is not going to be slow. AlphaTauri 1-2, and
the real
Gareth
question right now
has dropped out of that 1 second window, which is not going to be good for him. If he can't reel himself back in to this DRS train, it looks like he might just be settling for P6.
As I'm in the commentary, I need to be non-biased, so I won't say anything, but
non-biased.
But the real question is, like, can Matt Ryan really stretch this? Because Matt Ryan, Yuri and Garrett, Tony already did their mandatory stop, so with some safeguards they might maybe get to the end.
Depending on safety cars, depending on when it comes out as well, would you box knowing that you've got a 10-11 second buffer to P7? And
if you have a new set of mediums, like Jordan's still out, so you can try to get to the mediums and stretch it to the end.
Yeah, could do. But at this stage, no safety cars in the second half of the race. I probably jinxed it now. But hopefully we'll see Jordan box. If he doesn't, he's looking to stretch maybe to the softs. I'm not sure what the softs were like. Yuri was probably the best bet to ask, because he was the only one who started on them. Not the best race tyre. But will Jordan box? He does indeed.
Yes.
Relinquishes the lead to his AlphaTauri teammate Ryan Barry, the leader of a Grand Prix. How long will it last for? Because you've now not got any DRS. Well, you do. You're lucky. You've got DRS for this straight and the next. But after that, with the battery on 22%, you've got a train of cars that will be looking to overtake you. But where will Jordan come out? He's coming out the pits now. The McLaren of Davis jumps him, but he comes out ahead of Newgarden as Davis gets the fastest lap on those fresh, hard tyres.
So Garrett cannot take the toe of Yuri and needs to back off. So now it's only the top 4 in the ERS. With Yuri has the most ERS left. With Ryan Barry, it's almost empty. He's on 2% right now. So he's spending it all to hold on to the lead.
He is, and he's burning it again because he knows that the 3 drivers behind him are all going to have DRS, unless you're right on the back of the gearbox on the exit of that chicane.
On hot speed and does not try to take the gap.
Oh,
and now he is on the inside. Yuri's taking P3 on the difficult part of the track to overtake.
Yeah, we don't really see many moves there. Into the box comes Ryan Barry to make his one and only pit stop. Mandatory, probably going to mediums. Yuri now hugging that pit wall to try and break DRS, knowing he doesn't have DRS himself. That was a very good move from Yuri. I think Hot Speed got a little bit too deep, was later on the power, and Yuri got the exit on those fresher hard tyres. Hot Speed's going to be interesting to see whether he stops again.
And
he stopped
Matt
on lap
Ryan
1.
got a penalty, by the way.
Yeah, 3-second penalty for Matt Ryan. That's going to cost him. But he's already broken the 1-second window of Yuri. That pit stop for Ryan Berry is sloshing him out, still behind his teammate. So the overcut hasn't worked, neither has the undercut, but those fresh medium tyres are going to be nice and juicy for him to try and hunt down the rest of the field. I think get at least up to maybe P5. Fastest man on track is Davis, but those mediums are going to be the quickest of anyone, being the softer compound of tyre.
That's for sure, and I don't think he would mind a safety car right now.
He wouldn't indeed. It'd close up that gap to the leaders, and it'll be pick and choose who you want to overtake and how many positions do you want to gain. You're looking on.
Up. Yeah, you're close up the gap really fast right now. He's on the back of Matt Ryan right now.
Matt Ryan with less than 10%, Yuri up to 25%, Jordan with the fastest lap has got his hard tyres up to a nice, wonderful working window. Will he drag Matt Ryan along as he warms up his mediums? And when will Ryan Berry want to pounce and maybe get some team orders in, like, hey, let me through, I'm now on the medium tyres, give me a chance to go fight for a top 5 if the rest of the drivers don't decide to pit.
Let me get a hold on that, because of course we saw Matt Ryan going out of the way of Jordan, so it would be fair for Jordan to return the favor right now.
Yeah. What does Yuri do? Does he hold on for one more straight? Does he try and make a move like he did on Hot Speed the lap before? He's going to have to work on his final corner exit, but if you don't really want to get a run down towards turn 1, brake a little bit early, carry the speed through turn 1 and 2 and get the run on him down towards turn 3 will be the best opportunity for an overtake. Let's see what he can do. He's got enough battery. Matt Ryan stays on the racing line. Yuri goes for the inside, pulls back onto the racing line. Doesn't look like he's going to get that exit down towards turn 3, and
like
Matt Ryan
a little bit deep.
Yeah, Matt Ryan will hang on to the lead.
Out really early out of the slipstream, so he would be close if he stayed in a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's probably just trying to stay out of the slipstream while braking, because the car needs the downforce to brake.
And Jordan did return the favour and let Ryan Berry through.
Lovely stuff from the Alpha Tauri boys. Now, hopefully Jordan can stick with Ryan Berry's pace, stick with him DRS, and essentially drag him along up the field. We'll keep an eye on that gap, because Ryan Berry's really closing in on who was the race leader in the McLaren of Davis.
There is now not going for it.
He's dummying you, Leroy. He's not trying to dummy Matt Ryan. He's trying to dummy you into going for a move.
It looked like he was very close, to be fair.
DRS yet again. Yuri opting not to use the ERS this time. Matt Ryan is not using it either. But Yuri's got the most. Brake a little bit early, hit the apex. Now get a run. Oh, he's shifted all the way up to 7th. I don't think 7th would have been the one. I think 6th might have been the best gear to stay in. I know it minimises wheel spin. And there's the pace of Matt Ryan. Or, not Matt Ryan. There's the pace of Ryan. Why is there 2 Ryans? His name's not even Matt Ryan. His name's Matt. But yeah, Ryan Berry already in that 1 second window of Davis. We'll keep an eye on them on track, because that battle could get a little bit spicy.
As I don't know the tire situation right now, but I think they are trying to stretch them to the end of the race right now, the leaders. No,
Oh,
hot speed, he still needs to... Oh no, hot speed already got its stop out of the way, so... It would be difficult, but I think they are trying to get to the end.
yeah, it'd be the best bet.
A nice gap.
Indeed. The cloud cover is starting to form. Jordan did say it was going to rain. Did it look like it was going to rain on your telemetry, Leroy?
Before the race, when the race started, when we selected our strategy, it said it would be raining at the end of the race.
We've had 2 safety cars. The clouds are forming. We might get a dash of sprinkling on the track, but I don't think it will be any downpour.
Yuri doesn't really try to go for it, but Matt Ryan is sliding a little bit more.
Yeah, he's sliding a bit more, and
Yuri's still more than 3 times the ERS than Matt Ryan has, so it's not like it's not gonna happen. It's just a question, when will he go for it?
yes, indeed. If he can get in front, he's going to have to pull away. Otherwise, Matt Ryan will be back in the scenario that Yuri's in now, able to harvest some ERS. But it looks like he's going to go for it. Overtake is on, DRS enabled. He's in the slipstream. It's not the longest run, not the late dive bomb. No Daniel Ricciardo shenanigans. They're doing a what?
Now he's dummying you.
Is he?
He's not doing a dummy on Matt Ryan. He's
yeah, why use the overtake? I want to know. I know you want to get nice and close. Here's an opportunity now for Yuri. Will he use his overtake? No, he's very close. He may not need it. Will he stick the nose in up the inside into turn 1? Nice early brake.
Try to use the overtake. And remember, Yuri doesn't need to overtake him. Matt Ryan still got a 3-second time penalty.
He does indeed. But Matt Ryan will know this. He'll know that if Yuri does go for a move, it's either going to be a win or bin for either of them. But Yuri may not want to be sticking around for too long, just in case the likes of Ryan Berry, Tony or Gareth catch themselves back up. Ryan Berry got by Davis. I didn't see that move.
I also didn't see that, but Jordan is now close on Davo, so maybe on the next DRS Jordan can overtake him.
We're right on board.
I will keep an eye on Yuri because he's now 3/10 behind.
I've been on board with him for 4 laps and he's not made a move, so we'll see what Jordan can do. 2 lap fresher tyres compared to the McLaren, down towards turn 11. And not close enough for a move. Leaders now heading round the final corner.
Yuri is too far away. He was like 3/10 last lap and he's still not close enough with 5/10.
Let's go on board with hot speed to see the battle ahead. He's going to have to overtake Yuri if he wants to win this Grand Prix. He can get ahead of Matt Ryan due to the fact he has a 3-second time penalty.
Newgarden is pitting. I think Newgarden is going for the soft for the fast lap right now. Could be a good idea. If he's not going to lose any positions, he's going to gain 2 points though for fastest lap. Anyone inside the top 12 who sets fastest lap will get 2 bonus points added onto their tally for the championship, both in the constructors and the drivers, and this is something that Red Bull will want to take advantage of. But Yuri did have it. Who's got fastest lap now? Jordan with a 21.9. That's your target, Matt. Go get them for those bonus 2 points. Yuri's finally trying and he's going on the inside. And they do touch a little bit. Yuri almost spun, stays ahead, and he's through. Yuri's leading the race right now.
He is. Matt Ryan won't be a fan of that as he runs very deep into the penultimate corner. Hot Speed sticks his nose in on the inside, but having to brake that little bit earlier to avoid contact. Matt Ryan gets a better exit as Yuri decides to go right to the pit wall to break that slipstream toe. But what can he do? Matt Ryan's got a double dose of DRS. He's not got a lot of battery, neither has Yuri. Neither has Hot Speed, to be fair, so neither of them in an advantage of being able to overtake on track with the benefit of the battery. What Hot Speed can do now is, if Yuri can't pull away, he's just going to have to get by Matt Ryan as soon as possible.
And Ryan Berry passed Tony, so he's up to P5 right now. And looking to close the gap to Gareth.
Gareth wants in on this battle. He's been pushing a little bit. He's got no battery. He wants in for a podium. The gap was about 2.5 seconds a couple of laps ago. It's now 1.1 to P3.
It's not the podium he wants. He wants that P2. He wants Hot Speed because Matt Ryan will all of the podium as it stands right now.
He will indeed, and Gareth has snuck his way into that 1 second. Can he hold it all the way to the detection point coming up? He might do, and get himself well within this train as Joy goes back to the pit wall to break that toe. Matt Ryan decides to stay on the racing line, realising there's no point. I'm going to hold off Hot Speed behind with the benefit of DRS anyway. But Gareth, can he do anything to not only get P3 but get P2 and extend his championship lead even more to the rest of the field?
Ryan Berry is not closing up fast enough, so I don't think he will catch the guys in front. So I think the top three will be Yuri, Hot Speed, Gareth, but the order is not sure yet.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think we're going to run out of laps before Ryan Berry can catch up. Those medium tyres are probably still better than those hards ahead, but are going to wear out quickly as the fuel burns off. The faster he'll be able to go, but that increases the tyre degradation.
But then, will the question be, will Yuri keep his victory if he crosses the line like this? Because, of course, there was an accident with Jordan, who was leading, and Yuri took him out. So, will that be something to be looked at?
It could go to the stewards. So Gareth has an opportunity here to maybe even steal P1 from the back of the grid, from the slander that I've given him throughout this race, throughout qualifying. Will he be able to somehow take victory? We'll soon find out.
Victory, I think he needs to go to tier 1 for sure.
We were talking about you going to tier 1 with that disgusting lap time in qualifying. But Gareth just had too many sandbags.
I see myself in P11, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
all the gear, no idea, a bit like me.
But yeah, it's back again, all within a second for the top 4. So it's all to play for with 3 laps to go, 2.5.
Yeah, that's not good for Ryan Berry. He'd gained a second on Gareth.
And he gained
in that lap
time penalty, wasn't
and
it?
He gained the time penalty as well. So that second he's gained is thrown away and ended up losing a further 2 seconds. And that could be Ryan Berry's not only opportunity for a top 4, it may even fall further down, especially if Davis can get by Tony, who's on 8 lap older tyres. I think these hard tyres are going to start to die off a bit more now. Hot Speed's been on them since the end of lap 1. Admittedly, there's been a couple of safety cars, but this is a long time to be on the hard tyres. I'd love to know what the percentage is like, as Yuri just wants to be that guy who stands out as they run down towards turn 1. Stay off the racing line, picks up all the marbles, but breaks the slipstream. Will he hang on though?
He just tries to avoid any chance of Matt Ryan trying an overtake, because he doesn't want to get in any problems right now. He's controlling the race and he wants that.
Yeah, if Matt Ryan can stay within 2 seconds of Yuri as well. The 5-second penalty was to be given to Yuri for causing a collision. Then Yuri will not only drop off the P1 top spot, he'll drop off the podium down to P4, because Matt Ryan's 3-second will...
and that is where Ryan's Berry penalty will come in play, because if he kept it clean, he probably could even get P2.
Yeah, he could have done, indeed.
Yeah, P3. No, P3, sorry. But that doesn't matter, because he got a time penalty now. Matt Ryan's backlight is flashing again, so he's low. Yuri is saving some ERS, and Yuri is the fastest, has the most ERS from the top 4 right now.
Yeah, Gareth's going to have to make a move here now. Hot Speed does not have DRS. This is Gareth's opportunity to try and take not only P2 in this race, but maybe the top step of the podium after a steward's VAR inquisition. But what can Gareth do? Hot Speed's going to defend this with all his might. Gareth looks for the inside. Hot Speed goes deep. Gareth's going to have the outside at turn 4. Will he have the traction? A bit of wheel banging between the two. Both of these drivers know that this podium is up for grabs between them. Yellow flag in sector 1. It looks like it might be Tony. He's had a little bit of an incident at the exit of turn 3.
Driving.
Yeah, but I think Tony lost the position to Davis, who promotes himself up to P6.
They're still third close.
He is indeed. Neither of them have any battery from the looks of it. It's just going to have to be how Gareth gets the exit of this chicane. Can he get the run? Oh, the dirty air has ruined him there. And I think that might be the last chance saloon for Gareth. Any chance to get the top step? Will he go for a late lunge into the Panorama corner? He's going to have to be very optimistic, but Hot Speed hasn't really done anything wrong.
Hot Speed loses to Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan maybe still keeps on to P3.
Oh, he's going to screw Gareth here. Gareth may not even get a podium out of this. Rory has won the race on track. Hot Speed
Gareth
P2.
Is 1/10 behind.
Matt Ryan was 2/10 off P2, and Gareth down in P4, a 10th behind his Mercedes teammate. Ryan Berry finishes P5. Jordan steals fastest lap away from Newgarden, having boxed and done the same strategy, trying to get those bonus points, realising he's not going to gain any more positions, but he can gain more points. What a Grand Prix. And here's a funny note as well. I understand Hot Speed had wing damage at the end of lap 1. If he was the cause for Deck's retirement, there could be another steward's.
Good that you say it. It was told in the party he did hit Deck, so that even might be going to the stewards as well.
So even though he got a 3-second time penalty, Matt Ryan could still take victory here in Australia, but it's going to head to the stewards and see whether there will be a Red Bull, a Mercedes, or a Haas on the top step of the podium. Gareth is going to be fuming if he realises that both Yuri and Hot Speed are going to be under stewards investigation for incidents that happened early on in the Grand Prix. He's going to be fuming with himself, because not only would he have lost a chance to go from last to first, he's going to have lost to his teammate who had a 3-second time penalty. But there's our race results then. Yuri crossed the line P1, started on the softs, had a great start up to P5, was leading the race, had a little incident with an AlphaTauri, but managed to recover it up to P1. Hot Speed having an incident at turn 1 that could have caused the retirement of the Alfa Romeo of Deck. He's on the podium as well, with Matt Ryan just beating to P3. Ryan Berry, after starting on the hards, took them all the way to go onto the mediums. He finishes P5. McLaren of Davis, P6. Tony, Jordan, Newgarden round out your finishers. Risky, Leroy, Michelle and Deck all were sent packing back to Parc Fermé before the halfway stage. So, I feel like we might need some Driver of the Day nominations. From what you've seen, Leroy, who would you...
From what I've seen and what I heard in the party before I crashed out, you're starting from last and getting back up to the front in like 1 or 2 laps, then went back to the back, and then again to the front. I think it should be Yuri. Even though he might cause a collision, but it was a phenomenal drive from him.
Yeah. The tyres tried to turn against Yuri, but in the end he crossed the line in P1. I'm sure the stewards will be very busy for Tier 2, because we could never know who is winning this Grand Prix. Could be Yuri, could be Hot Speed, could be Matt Ryan, could even still be Gareth.
And who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day is going to go to Ryan Berry for keeping his nose clean on the hard tyres, and then managing to claw back the positions I did say about P5 he'd get to on those mediums. If it wasn't for that 3-second time penalty, he could have maybe been challenging for a podium, but he's going to get my nomination for this week. So thank you, Leroy, for joining me in the box. Next week,
no problem.
I don't know where we're racing. Do you know where we're racing next week?
I don't know, but I know I need to do some practice because at this moment, Garrett is just walking away with it, and we don't want to see that. I will have a look. Give me 2 seconds. We will go back to China.
China for round 8 of this season 10 here in VSL. I'm sure the familiar voice of Alfie will be back in the box this time next week. I've been your commentator, Peter Dyan. Leroy, thank you again, finally, for joining me. For your first commentary, I would say you did pretty darn well. Better than I did in my first. So, congratulations on that. Cheers, everyone, for watching the stream. And anyone who stayed at this for, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out VSL's Twitter and Discord for all information for up-and-coming races, seasons, and anything for F1 2023. Thank you all for tuning in.
Everybody.
Yes, and bye.